Close your eyes. Imagine you are in your favorite shop, a note of currency clutched in your hand, but when you reach the counter, you realize that the same note can buy you much less than what it could just a year ago. This, my friends, is what we call inflation, the silent thief, which is sneakily eroding the purchasing power of your money. Inflation is often looked at with worry, and rightfully so. It is the rate at which the general level of prices for goods and services is rising, and subsequently, how purchasing power is falling. If it is kept within reasonable bounds, though, it can be a tool for economic growth. However, when it spirals out of control, it can lead to an economic disaster. Now, you may be wondering, how does this dreadfully significant process take place? There are two main types of inflation: cost-push inflation and demand-pull inflation. Cost-push inflation is when costs of production increase, causing producers to raise prices in order to maintain their profit margins. This could be due to an increase in wages or higher raw material prices. On the other side, demand-pull inflation happens when demand for goods and services exceeds their supply, thereby pulling up prices. We often hear of inflation in terms of percentage. This percentage comes from what we call the inflation rate, which is calculated by the Consumer Price Index, or CPI. The CPI is a measure that examines the average price of a basket of goods and services, such as food, transportation, and medical care, over a period of time. If this year's CPI is higher than last year's, then congratulations, you have inflation. Inflation also has its sibling, known as deflation. Deflation is the decrease in the general price level of goods and services. While it may seem like a good thing on the surface, constant deflation can lead to an economic condition called a deflationary spiral, leading to decreased economic output and often a depression. Governments and central banks aim to control inflation using monetary and fiscal policies. Often a target rate around 2% is given as a guide to allow for steady economic growth while maintaining the fiscal stability. However, there's always a fine line to walk. Pumping the economy with too much money supply must be balanced with not increasing prices too high, also known as stagflation. So, the next time you find yourself wondering why the price of your favorite candy bar has gone up again, or why the cost of living seems to be increasing, remember your newfound knowledge about inflation. But fear not, while it does eat away at the value of your money. Remember that understanding inflation also equips us with the knowledge to fight it, live with it, and use it for our economic advantage. After all, knowledge is power, is it not?